What's up, everyone? Deuces Jack at VapingInsider.com. Remember, I told you in some of my other best of videos that we're going to be coming out with some more best of videos, but it's going to be a real deep dive with some very specific subcategories. Well, this is our Atomizer one. The first subcategory is going to be sub-ohm tanks. And the first part of that is going to be the best overall flavor and clouds. I did do a video on this already, so we're just going to run through them. Number one is the Freemax Fireluke Mesh Pro or the OG Fireluke. It doesn't matter. They both take the same coils, whichever one you can find cheaper. Next, we got the Horizon Tech Falcon tank. All right, we spoke a lot about that. And next is the Geek Vape Alpha. All three of them are very, very close. Taking up the number 4 spot is the Hugs Vape Magician. I really enjoyed that one. Hugs Vape is an up-and-comer. And taking up the last spot is the Smoke TFV8 Baby V2. I got that one in a bunch of kits. I did a standalone video on it. Love that tank. Love the mesh coils that come with it. Next category is, in the sub-ohm division, is Best Mouth to Lung. I would say number 1 in that category is the Innokin Zenith. I love that tank. That tank has nice flavor. It's got a nice smooth draw. You know, you can get it in kit form with some other mods that Innokin pairs it with. It's a great mouth-to-lung sub-ohm tank. Second on that list would be something a lot of people probably haven't tested. You probably haven't seen a lot of reviews on it. It would be the EH Pro Tinnis. I did a full review on it. I love that tank. Got great flavor, nice smooth draw, great for bakeries and custards. Definitely check it out if you're into mouth-to-lung vapes. And third on the list would be the Aspire Nautilus 2. That one's probably been out for a little while, but there's a reason it's been out for a while. It's a really good tank. And that's all I got for you in the mouth-to-lung. Let's move on to the next subcategory. Next up are RTAs. We're going to divide them up into different categories. For those of you that don't know, an RTA is a rebuildable tank atomizer. It's a tank that you can put your own coils in for you newbies that are watching. I'm going to break it up into a couple of different categories. First category in the RTA section is going to be the best single coil RTA. And I'll tell you what, man, there were a ton of pods that came out this year, but there were also a ton of single coil atomizers that came out this year. If it wasn't for, the market being bombarded with pods, this would probably be the year of the single coil. I've never seen so many good single coil atomizers come out in 1 year. And let me tell you something, man, it was hard narrowing it down. And in a lot of these categories, especially with RTAs, I wouldn't necessarily say it's 1, 2, 3. They're all so close that you really can't go wrong with any of them. But let's get into it. Best single coil RTA of the year, I would say, is the Vandy Vape Revolver. I love that RTA. I love the adjustable airflow, the way you can switch to different types of airflow. It's just a fantastic atomizer with great flavor. Next on the list would be the Squid Industries Peacemaker, the 25mm RTA. That thing is just banging when it comes to flavor. It's got that hermetic ghoul type of deck in it. I've been enjoying that one for quite some time now. The other one, this one's a sleeper. It's the Ghost Intake. I got this atomizer because I ordered some juice and I needed like a couple of bucks to get free shipping, right? And every once in a while when I do that, I look on the site, see if there's something cheap that I haven't reviewed, and I order it, right? I think I paid like $9 for this thing or something like that. And let me tell you something, one of the best $9 I ever spent. This Ghost Intake atomizer is just phenomenal. It's got great flavor. I was pleasantly surprised by it. Next on the list is the EH Pro Bachelor X. I kind of feel bad for EH Pro because they make some good stuff, but they don't have the greatest distribution, right? So a lot of people never hear about their stuff. And if you're a single coil vapor, especially a single coil RTA vapor, and you haven't gotten your hands on the EH Pro Bachelor X, you're doing yourself a disservice because this is a really solid tank. Great flavor, nice clouds, especially for a single coiler. And the last one on the list is the Asmatis Zestia. When I first got this tank, I looked at it. It kind of looked a little wonky. I was like, I don't know if this thing's going to vape well, right? Well, man, was I surprised. I put a single coil in this thing, loaded it up, and let me tell you something. Nice flavor, nice clouds, especially for a single coil RTA. The next category in the RTA section is going to be the best dual coil RTA. Now, I got 5 in this section, and I also have a couple of honorable mentions because this is probably the most competitive subcategory when it comes to atomizers in all of vaping. I mean, everybody makes a dual coil atomizer, so it was really tough to get this list. On the top of my list is the Coil Art Mage V2. I just think that atomizer is phenomenal. It's the standard that all others should be judged by as far as flavors, clouds, and build quality go. Fantastic atomizer. Taking a surprising second on the list is the Hugs Vape Lotus. Hugs Vape is a new company, but they've been coming out with some banging atomizers, and I believe the Lotus was their first, and I was pleasantly surprised at the flavor. The build deck is a little cramped, but man, is that flavor on this thing banging. Third place is the Vandy Vape Kylan 2. There's been a bunch of Kylans, single coil, dual coil Kylans. This is the best one yet out of that whole Kylan series. It's just super easy to build on. Tons of flavor on this thing. The flavor on it is just fantastic, so we had to put it on the list. Fourth on the list is the Squid Peacemaker XL. It's almost the same thing as the Peacemaker in the single coil category, but it's got a dual coil type of deck, almost like a Kylan style deck. It's got that protective covering around it. It's just a fantastic atomizer. You're going to get flavor and clouds out of this thing for days. And last place is the Geek Vape Creed. Now, I'll be honest with you, I probably would have ranked this atomizer higher if it had a better deck. It's got that deck with one terminal per post where you got to share your leads, and I just don't like those types of decks. I wish they would have done something different with it. They definitely had a lot more room, but the flavor and the clouds on it are fantastic, so it squeaked in at the bottom of the list. Honorable mentions for this subcategory, I got 2. I got the Geek Vape Blitzen, which is kind of like a poor man's aromomizer. That's the way I look at it. And I also had the Advocain Manta. You know, these 2 could have easily made the list, but, you know, the other 5 just kind of edged them out. All right? Moving on. Next category under the RTA section is the best 30 millimeter plus RTA. And I got to tell you, man, my favorite one of the year so far is the Voltrov Mini. I love that thing, man. It's just fantastic. I picked it up on sale for like $60. I think it was like a Black Friday sale. It was worth every penny. The machining on it is just gorgeous. Yes, it only has a velocity style deck, but man, the flavor, the airflow, everything on it is just phenomenal. Second place on the list is the Steam Crave Glass RTA. It's kind of like the Aromomizer Plus, but built for flavor. That's the way I would describe it. And in last place on this list, and the only reason it made last place is because of its size. We're talking about the Steam Crave Titan. The thing looks like a mini bubblegum machine. It's freaking huge, okay? Almost so, it's so big, it's a desktop atomizer. You're not going to take this thing out with you. This is something you keep on your desk, you vape it when you want to chuck clouds or something like that. But it is absolutely massive. It's a Steam Crave product, so you know the build quality is there. I've definitely been enjoying that one as well. Next up in the RTA section is the best top airflow RTAs. I'm not a top airflow guy. They have been getting better. In general, I think bottom airflow is better, but I wanted to list my top 3 of the year. I'd have to say the Geek Vape Zeus Dual, definitely one of the better flavor atomizers in the top airflow category. Next would be the Aug Vape Intake. I enjoyed that one as well, especially considering it's a top airflow tank. It had good flavor. And last place would be the Vapefly Horus. I kind of feel bad for Vapefly because they're another company that doesn't get a lot of love, but they put out a lot of quality stuff. They really do. Next in the RTA section is the best mouth-to-lung RTA. Again, there was some really good mouth-to-lung RTAs that came out this year. These are some of the standouts. The first one I got to give credit to, again, Hugs Vape, up-and-coming company. They developed this chalice. It's a beautiful RDA. It's aesthetically pleasing, and it vapes really well. I've been enjoying that one. Second place is the 3C Vape Savor. When you take the Savor out of the box, you look at it, it looks like it's a lot more expensive than it actually is, and it vapes really well. You'll get a nice, flavorful, legitimate mouth-to-lung draw off of it. Third place in this category is the Advocaat Manta mouth-to-lung. Again, another nice mouth-to-lung atomizer. Has a nice capacity, especially for a mouth-to-lung atomizer, and the flavor on it is just fantastic. I've been running it on my SL class for months, and I've been enjoying it. And last place in the mouth-to-lung RTA category is the Vandy Berserker 1.5. Vandy has been pretty successful with their Berserker line. A lot of die-hard mouth-to-lungers like it. The 1.5 made some subtle changes from the OG, and I'll tell you what, there's some nice changes, and it works as a mouth-to-lung atomizer. And that's it for the RTA section. Let's move on to the RDA section, the rebuildable dripping atomizer section, all right? Again, a lot of great single coil atomizers came out, especially in the RDA category. Let's go over the best single coil RDAs. Number one, and I had a tough time choosing between the number one and number two one. I guess sometimes it depends what day you catch me at, because some days I'll be like, nah, number one is the best. Some days I'll be like, number two is the best. The first one is the Atomizers C4. I've been running this thing, for quite a few months now. I probably went out and bought another 2 or 3 in different colors. I liked it so much. I rarely do that because of the amount of devices I actually have. On this one, I actually went out and bought some other ones. The Atomizers C4 is just a great restrictive single coil vape. Next on the list is the Cthulhu Mjolnir. This thing's got a massively deep juice well. It's got a drainage system, tough to over squonk on. Flavor is banging. Like I said, it depends what day you catch me on how I'll answer the question, which one is better, the Mjolnir or the C4. I guess today, the C4 was better. Number 3 is the Atomizers Bunker. Atomizers did a bang-up job this year in their single-coil game. The bunker's really nice. It's got these see-through windows. It's big for a single-coil atomizer, but it's got nice flavor, and it's got bottom airflow, which will contribute to great flavor. So definitely check it out. It's a little looser than the C4. It's not as restrictive, but it'll still give you a nice quality vape. Fourth on the list would be the Wotofo Recurve. I enjoyed the Recurve. I was running it on the Recurve mod for quite some time. Nice single coiler that's really tough to over squonk on. I like the way Mike Vapes did that U-shaped airflow in there. He just did a bang-up job on it. It deserves to be on this list. Last place is another Hugs Vape. Surprise, surprise. Hugs Vape quietly made a name for themselves this year. I wish them luck. I hope they get more distribution. I hope their stuff becomes more mainstream because they build some quality atomizers. And the Hugs Vape thesis is definitely a testament to that. This is a really, really nice single coil vape, has nice flavor, and the build quality is pretty good. Now again, because this was such a competitive category, I have a couple of honorable mentions in this one as well. The first honorable mention is going to be the Hot Sig Hades. I know a lot of people say it's a dual coil atomizer, but it thrives as a single coiler, so that's why I put it on this list. Next would be the Wotofo Nudge 22, another banging little flavor addy. Definitely check it out if you get a chance. The last honorable mention would be the Blitz Enterprises Ghoul. You could slash that and put the Hermetic right next to it too. They're very, very similar atomizers with a couple of little changes, but both of them are really nice single coilers. Let's get into the best dual coil RDA. Again, an extremely competitive subcategory because almost every company out there that makes atomizers makes a dual coil RDA. Number 1 on the list for me was the Vandy Bonza 1.5. I was a big fan of the OG Bonza. They made some subtle improvements. They made some nice improvements to the airflow on this one. You know, the way you can cut it down and everything. I think the flavor on it is banging. It took my number 1 spot. Next would be the QP Cali. This thing is just fantastic. I bought it when I got sucked up in the Juggernaut hype at one of the shows. Everybody was telling me how great the Juggernaut was. I went over there. I picked up 2 Juggernauts and 1 Cali. I honestly wish I would have done it the other way around. I should have picked up 1 Juggernaut and 2 Calis. That's how much I like the Cali. Great dual coil RDA. Next up is a surprise. I got this one from Vape Wild. They asked me if I wanted to review it. I never heard of it before. I said, sure, send it over. I'll check it out. It's the Stage Vape Venus. It's a good-looking RDA, and it vapes surprisingly well. Next on the list was the Immortal Mods Vital. I know, the whole apocalypse thing. I got it. You know, I'm not here to get political over it. I'm just telling you, I like the way the Immortal Mods Vital vapes. It's basically a stepped-up version of the Apocalypse RDA, but I always enjoyed that RDA as well. You know, whether you want to support the company or not, that's up to you, but I enjoyed the way this one vaped. And last on the list is the Tiger Tech Nada. I don't know, man. I don't know why this one didn't get a lot of love. I definitely enjoyed this one. It's got a drop style deck. It's got customizable airflow. I've been getting nice flavor off of it, nice clouds. I enjoyed the Nada from Tiger Tech. Next in the RDA category is the Best Mesh RDA. Now, there was no competition in this one. There really wasn't. I got 3 in the category, but the number one is miles ahead of the other 2. That's right. I'm talking about the Watofo profile by Mr. Just Right. He's got the right name because he did mesh just right. This is by far the best mesh RDA on the market, bar none. There are plenty of others, but they don't come close to it. So I got to let him win this category by default. But there are two others in this category that are okay, but make no mistake about it, they're no profiles. And that would be the Vandy Vape Mesh. It's a decent mesh tank, all right? It's not bad. You get good flavor. It's not as good as the profile, but it's decent. See, the problem with the profile was it made every other RDA in this category seem like it wasn't that great. And I don't mean to downplay Vandy Vape's mesh RDA. I'm just telling you the profile is that much better. And the last one on this list would be the Vapefly Mesh Plus. Also, you know, a very middle-of-the-road mesh RDA, but that's only because the profile set the bar really high. The next subcategory in the RDA section is the Best Mouth-to-Lung RDA. Bar none, best mouth-to-lung RDA this year has been the Vapefly Galaxies. It's fantastic. It's a legitimate mouth-to-lung RDA. Nice build quality. Vapefly always does a good job with most of their stuff. I'm surprised they're not more popular as a company. Second place would be the Geek Vape Amit mouth-to-lung. Again, another true, legitimate mouth-to-lung vape. Easy to build, easy to wick. You mouth-to-lungers will definitely enjoy it. And last place would be the Vandy Vape Berserker. The Vandy Vape Berserker line has been doing really well with the mouth-to-lungers. The RDA is really nice. It looks a lot more expensive than it actually is. It's got a high-end look to it, and I've enjoyed that one in my mouth-to-lung vaping journey as well. Next up in this section is the Best 30mm Plus RDA. Again, really not a lot of competition. Not too many 30mm Plus RDAs on the market. And if there are, I didn't get sent them, so I can only put in this category what I actually used. The Steam Crave Glass. It's got that Trinity-style glass. Big deck. Takes big coils. Fantastic RDA. Next up in this section is the Best Vertical Coil RDA. I told you guys I was going to do a deep dive down, all right? For me, the best one was the Omir VLS. Again, didn't get a lot of vertical coil RDAs. I think I only got 2 or 3. I like the Omir VLS better than all of them. The Times Vape Reverie was pretty good, but I think the VLS was better. So those are my top 2 in this category. Our next section is the Best RDTAs. And like I said to you guys, some of my stuff is going to be repetitive because some of the stuff I did a full video on. And that's this section. I would go with the Omir Wasp RDTA. The Asmatis Nefarious would be in second place. The Vandy Vape Pyro 2 would be in third. The Cool Vapor Cavalry would be in fourth. And the DJV Deja Vu would be in fifth place. I promise you guys I'd do a deep dive down. I think I broke up the categories pretty well, pretty specifically. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, don't forget, we're going to have links to every review that I did down below, as well as where you can get it, which vendor supported us. We'd appreciate it if you go out there, if you're going to buy it, and buy it from them. Show them some support. Show this channel some support. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it guides you in your vaping journey. We're going to see you guys on the next one. You keep living that vape life. We're out of here. Deuces.